Hello everyone, my name is Austin Montana, and this is the Austin Montana Show. Today we're going to be discussing something outside of the US today. We're going to be talking about the UK. I think they speak the same language, but... So anyway, in my podcast we're trying to talk about foreign events, foreign relations, all that kind of stuff, because I think we're going to be talking about the Russian-Ukraine war, because obviously that has something to do with what's going on in the US today, such as inflation and gas prices and stuff like that. But today specifically we're going to be talking about the UK. They have suffered their biggest pay drop and also in 2 decades, and also inflation is hitting them as well as the U.S. as well, and most of the parts of the world, such as China, all the big ones, all the big exporters, all the big trade economies and stuff like that. China, U.S., Russia, and UK. So this article is from CNN Business. I will post a link in the description of the article so you guys can follow along as I go along. Workers in the United Kingdom are struggling with the biggest drop in pay in more than 2 decades as surging food and energy prices take giant bite out of wages. Real pay, workers' wages that take inflation into account, slipped by 2.8% between March and May compared to the same time last year, according to data released Tuesday by the Office of National Statistics. That's the fastest decline since the ONS began keeping records in 2001. Earlier this month, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson resigned. A series of ethics scandals proved too costly for the government to brush off. His successor, which is currently being decided, faces a daunting set of economic and financial challenges. For months, rising global economy and commodity prices worsened by Russia's invasion of Ukraine have helped stoke global inflation. The world's fifth largest economy has been one of the hardest hit among the world's wealthiest nations. UK consumer prices hit a 40-year high of 9.1% in May, the highest among the G7 leading economies, and is forecast to climb over 11% later this year, despite a series of interest rate hikes. Households are feeling the strain. Eye-watering energy and grocery bills have thrown Britain into the worst cost of living crisis in decades. The Bank of England depicts that disposable incomes will suffer the second biggest decline this year since records began in 1964. Grocery bill inflation hit nearly 10% in the 4 weeks ending on July 10th, according to the data from research firm Kantar released on Tuesday. That means that Britons can expect to spend an additional £454, which is $545 this year on food and essentials. So grocery bill inflation has increased the price, and also consumer prices also have increased 9.1% in May, and also it's going up about 11% later. Energy bills, which rose by 54% in April, are estimated to top £3,000, which is $3,603 per year for millions of households from October, according to energy research firm Cornwall Insight. That's when the government next adjusts a price cap that limits the amount suppliers can charge customers per unit of energy. Boris Johnson's government has promised $480 in grants per family to help out the millions of people struggling to pay their energy bills. It also with pressure the last month and unveiled a $5 billion pound or $6 billion tax on the windfall profits of oil and gas companies. High inflation combined with damaging Brexit policies have sapped the nation's growth. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development forecast last month that the UK economy was heading to stagnation, with zero growth in GDP forecast for 2023. That would be the worst performance in the G7 next year. The pound has also been hammered this year, losing 11% of its value against the U.S. dollar, which likely make it more expensive to import goods. So if one country loses value, it's expensive to export goods, import goods, and to trade with each other. But there's one bright spot. Hiring is to continue at a pace last month. Preliminary ONS data showed, with the number of people on payroll going 3% compared to a year ago. So inflation has been affecting the bills, the gas bill, etc., etc. It has also been affecting, the exports, trade exports, and stuff like that in the UK, because there's been a lot of factors such as, again, the Russian and Ukraine war, China, COVID, all that kind of stuff. The majority is the Russian and Ukraine war because of the gas prices and the trade, because most of, the world, we all use gasoline, besides Elon Musk, because he uses Tesla to charge the batteries. So, and the gas is a major export, and now most of the countries are running out of gas, which is why that we need to increase the prices, because the more prices we get, then the more money we can to pay the other countries to export gas. But most of the countries, mainly all of the countries, rely on Russia for gas. Now, the thing is, I think people rely on Russia for gas because Russia is the second or the third biggest gas export in the world. So... And also, speaking of Russia, Russia also has the biggest form of cryptocurrency as well, with Kazakhstan. So, yeah, Russia is the biggest thing for the economy, the gas prices, cryptocurrency, all those other big financial and economics stuff. Also, the big business, because it's run by Putin. So, Putin stabilizes the economy and everything really well. But since it is I think it's like a communist, but it's not entirely a communist. it's not really going to sustain that well because of the war and how Putin is, in my opinion, kind of pretty greedy that he wants to take Ukraine. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Austin Montano. This is the Austin Montano Show.